Hi there, my name is Sequoia. I am the creative designer and founder behind Sequoia Craig Design. I do website design and SEO for coaches. Today I want to talk about how you are actually making it more difficult for people to buy from you because of your web design. So I want to talk about Robert Fritz. Robert Fritz wrote a book called The Path of Least Resistance. You may or may not have heard of it, but essentially the idea with it is that humans will follow the easiest route. So if you want to make substantial changes in your life, you have to change the path, the structures in place, so that like a river, you follow a different path. How this relates to web design is that as consumers, people follow the path of least resistance. That may look like your website having too small text, so they navigate out. It being difficult to find the add to cart button, so they navigate out. In this day and age, there are so many options for purchasing, and the online market is so competitive that when you Google something, you're given tons of options. So if a user isn't able to find what they're looking for quickly on your website, they're gonna go to someone else's. That's why it's so important to design for consumers first. Some things that create unnecessary resistance are excessive clicks, looking for a button, multiple steps to check out, forms. When anything is a little bit more difficult to find where they need to go, that's going to add more resistance. And it's just like a funnel where the more clicks, the more steps it takes to get to purchase, the less people you're going to have at the bottom of that funnel. Regardless of if you're an e-commerce business or a service provider, you want to create that checkout process from discovery to booked or sold as simple as possible. So get in the shoes of your ideal client, someone navigating to your website, and look at it objectively. How many steps does it take to get you from over here to over here? Is it confusing? Is it hard to find anything? Is anything unintuitive? Some websites, you may have to fill out a form, and then you have to book a call, and then you have to make a payment just to even talk to a service provider. Now, that may be really useful, but it may not be. So the important thing there is that you're thinking about what is useful for your ideal client and your client onboarding process. So if you have a slew of leads and you need to filter them out and you only want to work with people who are super committed, then yes, by all means, make it this application process that has a lot of steps. But the reason why I bring this up is because oftentimes we have all of those steps and we don't realize that it's actually hurting our ability to generate more sales. Some clients actually need to go through a lot of steps. They need to read a full landing page. They need to fill out an application and provide a deposit for them to feel committed and invested in the process. But the important thing is that you have options. So a good way to do this is to just add a contact button. So you may have the application on your website, and once you fill out the application, it takes you to a booking site. Again, this is for service providers, but you also have the contact button that goes straight to your email. So that way, if a client needs to fill out an application and they want to go through that process and get a better idea of what working with you looks like, they have that ability. But if someone sees you and has decided, boom, I want to work with you, they can just click the contact button or the email button or the call button, right? So it's not about taking away all of the resistance. It's about creating multiple paths so that people can take the path of least resistance. But some of those other paths are required for certain people to purchase so that they feel more informed and empowered to make that decision. What I like to say is that you need to have at least 3 paths. One is a path that sells, one is a path that nurtures, and one is a path of least resistance. So how many different paths are there from someone to become a lead to a client or a prospect to a sale? And if you don't have a lot of options, or if you need to streamline that process, please feel free to reach out. My information is down below. You can check out my website, and I'll also link other important resources down there. Thanks so much.